Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of KLA Sports. Yes, that is the new name for my channel. I will no longer be Sports News with Kyle Alexander, just because I felt the title was a little too long. And plus, the other stuff I'm starting to get into, like the reaction videos and stuff, I felt like it shouldn't just be Sports News. So, yeah. And the KLA, those are my initials, so that's where I got it from. Yeah, we're back. Hope you guys enjoyed that reaction video I did before this one. And yeah, we're finally doing it. Trade deadline just happened, and even though I know Thursday Night Football just happened, but we are here. We are here with our first ever 2020 NFL mock draft. So I will be doing 3 to 4. I'm doing this. The first one will come after is going to be after the trade deadline. So right now, second one will be, I don't know. I'm thinking of doing one after the playoff or after the regular season and then after the playoffs, or if I should just wait till after the playoffs and then I'm gonna do one after the combine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, we're gonna hop right into this with the first pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals had the first pick and not the Dolphins. How is that? The Dolphins had a bye week. That's literally it. So the Bengals lost more games than them technically. So, but with the first pick, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Alabama, best QB in the draft. You know, it's his whole tank for Tua, and honestly, he's accurate. He's a great QB. He has great pocket awareness, and this time Cincinnati moves on from Andy Dalton, and plus Cincinnati can help build up that whole line. All right, next up, oh, and also I'm gonna try to keep this a little shorter because the first time I tried to record this, it was over an hour. So I want to keep this within like 30 to 40 minute range. Yeah, but without that, with that being said, the second pick out of the Miami Dolphins taking Justin Herbert, QB from Oregon, second best QB. So I'm taking him over Joe Burrow. He's more. I feel like he's more mature since he's a senior. More mature. I feel like he would be smarter than Burrow. Like he can handle the system, or he can like decision making wise, I guess, like with the organization and stuff like that. I feel like he would be a better leader, and he's just a good all around QB. He can throw, he can run if he has to, and honestly, I just feel like Herbert would fit great with Miami. And that's just my thoughts on that. With the third pick, I have the Washington Redskins taking Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver from Alabama. Now, I know a lot of people are like, wait, why don't you have us taking Chase Young? Washington already has edge rushers. Now, the only thing is I don't know if Ryan Kerrigan's in a contract year or not, but they got Josh Allen, or no, Jonathan Allen, Matthew Inez, Ryan Kerrigan, and Montez Sweat. And would they run a 3-4? So I mean, if Kerrigan did leave, or like if he wasn't a contract year, and they or if they trade him in the offseason, or if he wasn't a contract year, they could take Chase Young. But I don't know if I would put him at outside linebacker. I mean, he could probably play it, but to me, he's more of a defensive end than a 4-3. So yeah, and plus Washington needs receivers. They especially with Dwayne Haskins making his first start this week. Terry McLaurin is breaking out this year. He's being pretty good, and that's pretty much it. Paul Richardson is kind of falling off. So you spend that pick number 3, get the best receiver in the game. Next up at number 4, I have the Atlanta Falcons taking Chase Young, defensive end from Ohio State. To me, Chase Young is the best player in this class, and honestly, he seems like he could be a dark horse candidate for Heisman. Seems like he's the only defensive player who will be nominated. This man's just a great athlete, freak of nature. Already has 13.5 sacks in like 8 games. Got 4 in that Wisconsin game. So yeah, Chase Young, best player in this class, and the Falcons take him to pair up with Grady Jarrett and Takkarist McKinley. Next up at 5, I almost said 5, I had the New York Jets selecting Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle from Georgia. I just feel the Jets could go with maybe a receiver or somebody on defense, but you got to protect your franchise QB. Now, Andrew Thomas is the best lineman in this class. He has great size, uses his hands nice, and he has some nice power. He gives a nice punch off the line. And yeah, I just felt like Jets get him to protect that blind side of Sam Darnold. Next up at number 6, we have the other New York team, the New York Giants. I have them selecting Dylan Moses, the linebacker from Alabama. Best linebacker in this class. Best middle linebacker. Yeah, best linebacker. I say best middle linebacker in this class. New York, they could go with a corner or a DB, or a lineman or a receiver. But if I'm New York, you need somebody on that defense. They're talking about trading Alec Ogletree. Don't really need pass rushers since they just got Leonard Williams. I mean, maybe they could get an outside linebacker since they're in the 3-4. But if I'm them, I would get a middle linebacker because you need somebody over that middle to command the defense. And I feel like Dylan Moses would be the right pick here. Next up at pick number 7, the Denver Broncos. I have the Broncos taking AJ Epineza, defensive end from Iowa. To me, Denver they have a pretty talented roster. You got Chris Harris Jr., Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Phillip Lindsay. Don't have Emmanuel Sanders, but they got Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton even. Then they just got Noah Fant. But I saw this on a mock draft and I agreed with this pick because like they could use some secondary, but at the same time, with Bradley Chubb going out, is like you could use another edge rusher to help in case something like that happens. Plus, not even that, you got 3 people defenses will have to game plan for. You got Von Miller, who's arguably the best pass rusher in the game. Bradley Chubb, who's starting to get up there as one of the best. And then AJ Epineza, a guy with arguably the best pass rusher not named Chase Young. Yeah, this would just to me this would be a good pick, good value pick. That's why I have the Broncos taking him to help bring the pain to other QBs. Next up at pick number 8, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Jalen Hurts, QB from Oklahoma. Jameis Winston is a bust. It's time to move on. Jalen Hurts has been balling out this year. Because at Alabama, he could not pass. Like he wasn't that great of a passer. Now at Oklahoma, where they pass the ball a lot, he's throwing more accurate. I can't remember if this is 4th or 5th year, but he's matured. You can see him acting mature like late in the season, and yeah, I feel he would be a better leader, and he can actually take this team to the playoffs. He can actually do more than Jameis Winston with Mike Evans and O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and Chris Godwin. Next up, I have the Cleveland Browns at pick number 9. I have them taking Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from Iowa. Now, Wirfs, he's a good lineman. He stays with his guys sometimes, but he also gets beat off the edge. To me, he's a better run blocker. His pass blocking's decent, I say he's a good pass blocker. Or no, I say decent. He's a decent pass blocker, but it just seems like he gets beat a lot. Fortunately, the clips I saw of him, the film I saw of him, it wasn't like he was giving up sacks because the QB was able to get the ball out. Yeah, he's got to work on that pass blocking. But I feel like Cleveland might look past that and might look at that as something he can improve on, and actually take him to help protect Baker Mayfield. At pick number 10, I have the Los Angeles Chargers with their one fan. So I'm just joking with you Chargers fans. But anyway, I have the Chargers selecting Isaiah Simmons, linebacker and safety from Clemson. Simmons, to me, he's the best. I say probably the best athlete in this class. Chase Young is the best player, but Isaiah Simmons might be the best athlete. He's versatile. Chargers need a linebacker. He can play in the box as a safety or a linebacker. Then you got him and Derwin James, who could both play in the box. And he's a great edge rusher, too. I've seen Clemson, some plays they'll have him blitz off the edge. I've seen him use that speed of his, get off the edge. He's a good tackler in the open field and also stopping runs to the outside. What's the name? He can cover at linebacker and DB. So he can cover in the box on the tight end, or he could cover deep down the field on the receiver. So this would be a great pick for Anthony Lynn, as he has so many options to use Isaiah Simmons in. All right, with pick number 11, the Dolphins from the Steelers trade, I have the Dolphins selecting Grant Delpit, the safety from LSU. They just got to keep Talib, even though he may not be the future piece for the Dolphins. That's at least a good placeholder. And also, you just traded Minka Fitzpatrick, who's a safety. He's versatile. He's a safety and slot corner. Get Grant Delpit, best defensive back in the game or in the draft. To me, this is just a no-brainer pick. This boy can cover. He can hit. And this will definitely help boost up Miami's secondary. All right, with the 12th pick, I have the Oakland Raiders selecting Christian Fulton, the cornerback from LSU. 2 LSU DBs back-to-back. Excuse me. As the Raiders, they traded away Garrett Conley earlier. So, honestly, it's like, who did they even have at corner? Got some pretty good safeties, but they need some corner help. So, that's why Christian Fulton's the best corner in this draft. He's good at coverage. And I feel like John Gruden would be happy to have him on the field, or happy to have him in the silver and black. Next up, the Oakland Raiders again with the 13th pick from the Bears in the Khalil Mack trade. Raiders with back-to-back picks. I have them selecting CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma. They did end up getting the top 3 receiver in the game in Antonio Brown, but we all know how that played out, the whole fallout. So now they only have Tyrell Williams and Hunter Henry. And they did just get Zay Jones, but I just don't really see Zay Jones being an outside receiver. Personally, I don't see Tyrell Williams being the number 1 receiver. So that's why you go out and get Lamb, the second, arguably the best receiver in the country. But I feel like most people have Jerry Jeudy as the number 1 receiver. But I like Lamb a lot. He's a great receiver, has a nice catch radius, and he could definitely take over and be a number 1 receiver for John Gruden and the Raiders. Next up at pick 14, the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to take Derrick Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. They didn't get a pass rusher last year, so this year they go out and get a pass rusher. They probably need help somewhere else, but I would say they could definitely look at the D-line. Derrick Brown is explosive. He has a nice reach, can get off blocks. He's a good pass rusher. He can get pressure on the QB and get some sacks. So that's why I had him. Plus, Corey Peters is getting up there in age. And then you got Chandler Jones, who's a sack machine. And Terrell Suggs, even though he's on a 1-year deal. You get Derrick Brown, who can definitely help upgrade that pass rush unit. Next up at pick 15, the Tennessee Titans. I have them replacing Marcus Mariota with Joe Burrow, QB from LSU. I've been trying to look at Mariota saying, oh, he has potential. He's better than Winston. He can be great. No, it's time to give up on him too. It's just like he can't get the job done. He's inconsistent. So you go out here and get Joe Burrow, who I feel like is in this class as like a Daniel Jones option, where it's like not that many strong QBs in this class. Where like it's not like it's not like Trevor Lawrence and what's his face, Justin Fields are both in this class. But at the same, and honestly, I could see him getting picked over Jake Fromm. And no hate the Burrow. Burrow is good. He's doing his thing right now. But yeah, this would be a great value pick for Tennessee and a great way to replace Mariota. Burrow, he's playing pretty good. Plus, he's shown he's pretty elusive. Like he can escape pressure when he has to. And Tennessee can help develop him with the young receivers. Next up at pick 16, I have my Philadelphia Eagles, my second favorite team. I have them upgrading their secondary with C.J. Henderson, cornerback from Florida. Definitely one of the best corners, one of the better defensive backs in this game. Listen, Eagles, their secondary has been awful the last few years. They go out at the trade deadline, try to get Chris Harris Jr., try to get Darius Slay, and that doesn't work. So now we have to go the whole season without trading for anyone. And if this guy, C.J. Henderson, is sitting right here at pick 16, I'm taking him if I'm the Eagles. He has nice size. All the corners in this draft class have the nice size. They fit the new mold of the tall, lengthy corner. But Henderson has nice size. He's physical, can tackle in the box, and he's aggressive. And he's got making plays on the ball. Like half of his highlights, or like half of his film and like highlights and stuff is just him knocking the ball out and deflecting passes. So if I'm Philly, I'm taking this pick. This is a great pick for the Eagles. Secondary gets better. With the 17th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them taking Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver from Alabama. They haven't really had a great receiver. Now, Keelan Cole is breaking out this year, and I like it because I like Keelan Cole at LSU. And even then, D.D. Westbrook is also a good receiver. But Keelan Cole kind of fell off from last year. Or he was, to be honest, Keelan Cole wasn't even that nice last year. He had that one catch against New England, and he was, like, serviceable, but he wasn't really, like, top receiver material. So Chark can definitely take over as the top receiver, but Ruggs can be that slot receiver. He can be that slot or outside receiver. He has great ball tracking skills, nice speed. He's a good route runner. And he's good at the jump ball and the run after catch. I've seen him with Alabama use him mostly with screens and sweeps. That is a great way to utilize Henry Ruggs, and I know Doug Marrone and Gardner mentioned you would like to have him down in the green and gold in Jacksonville. Next up at the 18th pick, I have the Detroit Lions selecting Trayvon Diggs, cornerback from Alabama. Now, they've needed somebody outside of Darius Slay because he's been their only, like, top corner. Trayvon Diggs, I think he could be that guy for Detroit. Again, nice size, and he has long arms so he can knock out passes. Good at making plays on the ball, good in coverage. Plus, I believe they have the Lions have Justin Coleman, so they can move him in the slot and put Diggs on the outside. The only thing I think Diggs needs to work on is his tackling, because I've seen some plays where he had missed tackles. But I mean, other than that, this is the running mate for Darius Slay. So if I'm Detroit, Matt Patricia, you would get him. You should get him. Next up at pick 19, the Dallas Cowboys, team I despise, but the Dallas Cowboys, I have them taking Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle from South Carolina. Now, Dallas is known they need to upgrade their pass rush unit, as they showed with the Michael Bennett trade. Then they also have DeMarcus Lawrence, who's one of the top he's one of the top elite defensive ends in this league. Not the class, in the league. They don't really have nobody on that interior, so they go and get Javon Kinlaw. He's versatile. He can play. South Carolina played him at D tackle, defensive end, and outside linebacker in the 3-4. And this man's done phenomenal. He already has 5 sacks in the season. He can get off blocks well, and he knows how to use his hands. And he can jump. He can jump and knock down passes. So that would be huge in upgrading Dallas's pass rushing unit and defense, as the pass rushing unit will help out the secondary and the linebackers. I just see Javon Kinlaw working out with Bennett and DeMarcus Lawrence. Next up, I have at pick number 20, I have the Carolina Panthers drafting T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson. T. Higgins, I was looking at some of his film so that way I could get a draft analysis on him. This guy, great prospect, great receiver prospect, top 3. He has a nice frame, great at the jump ball, and he has amazing catch radius and can track the ball. And he has good speed too. He's like 6'4" with a great speed. I believe I heard he ran like a 4.3-ish, like a 4.3 speed at a pro day. But this would be a huge pickup for the Panthers. If they decide to move on from Cam Newton and get T. Higgins, they'll have DJ Moore and T. Higgins on the outside, Curtis Samuel in the slot where I think he belongs, along with Greg Olsen and Christian McCaffrey out the backfield, arguably the MVP this year. So and honestly, the defense is playing lights out this year, or not lights out. The defense is playing pretty good this year. So this would be great. Also gets Kyle Allen, another young receiver to grow with. And that's why T. Higgins would be a big pickup for the Panthers right here. Next up, selecting at pick 21. The Jacksonville Jaguars. This pick was acquired from the Rams in the Jalen Ramsey trade. Has been replacing Jalen Ramsey with Jeffrey Okudah, cornerback from Ohio State. He's a top corner in this class. Again, good size. He has some nice instincts. Like that one play he slipped and still caught the interception. That was good instincts and nice reaction time. He has good length and nice athleticism. He can knock the ball out, and he can knock the ball out, make some plays on the ball. Another good thing about him is he's great at leveraging receivers' routes. Like, he makes the routes difficult. So if a receiver is supposed to be running the route to the inside, he can jam them outside and leverage that route outside. And then he's also a pretty good tackler. He can tackle in open field. He can come down in the box, or he can come down. Like, if he has like a 10-yard cushion and he starts backing up, he can come down and tackle the flat. This would be a good pick to pair up with A.J. Bouye and to try and move on from Jalen Ramsey. Next up, at pick 22, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. I know, the Kansas City Chiefs at 22. It's insane. I have the Chiefs taking Jonathan Taylor, running back from Wisconsin. Now, you're probably thinking, Kyle, the Chiefs need defense. I get that. But the defense is playing better this year. And honestly, there's free agency, so I feel like they could build through free agency. But offense is good, or not good. It's like one of the more elite offenses in the league. And then you get Jonathan Taylor. That kind of completes it. Now, the whole thing with the Kareem Hunt incident, they cut him. Then they have LaShawn McCoy, who is good. He's great with Andy Reid's system. But he's old. For NFL players, up there in age. So you get Jonathan Taylor, who can learn from one of the better running backs in this generation. And Jonathan Taylor, I don't even really have to say it much. Like, he's the best running back in this class. Can catch out the backfield. He can run between the tackles. Does it all. And this would be great to pair with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Next up at pick 23, I have the Dolphins making their last pick, as they got this in the Laremy Tunsil trade with Houston. I have the Dolphins selecting DeAndre Swift, the running back from Georgia. Now, the Dolphins, they just traded Kenyon Drake to the Cardinals, and I don't believe Kalen Ballage can take over as a number one running back. I believe he's more like a Gus Edwards role for the Ravens. Like, he's not the number one, but he can definitely be used for like third downs or like just time, like trying to milk the clock. And I believe Swift can be the answer for Miami. Gives Herbert, if they take him, another weapon. Swift has speed. He can run between the tackles, but I believe he's better at zone running, like running to the outside and the edges, like the run to the outside and stretches and stuff. And he can catch out the backfield. He could be a nice speedy receiver out the backfield. And this will be a great pickup for Miami to help their depleted offense. Next up at pick 24, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I have them taking Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end from Penn State. Now, when I was looking this kid up, I saw a story. This man, I'm rooting for him. He has one of the heartfelt stories of the season. I saw this on ESPN on YouTube. They said when he was like 2 years old, his dad drowned. And then his brother got hit by lightning and died instantly. And I was like, wow, that's like it's just crazy to think that somebody lost somebody from a lightning strike. It's just to me that's just crazy, because it's not like a way you hear like somebody dies every day. And for him to keep on playing for his brother and his dad, that's just special. So I'm now rooting for this kid to be Hall of Famer. So, I'm just rooting that he can make it in the NFL. Now, Matos, he can move off the line. He's quick off the line. He has good tracking speed. He can go from the right side and track him running back all the way down to the left. Knows how to use his hands, and he has nice length. And Indianapolis, defense is kind of the weaker point this year. And they've done a great job of building up, gradually building up in the draft. Like taking, they got Andrew Luck, they got Marlon Mack, Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith. Had T.Y. Hilton later. They're not even just building through the draft, just building in the roster, because it was like, we need a number 2 receiver. Go outside Devin Funchess, who I believe is a number 2 receiver naturally. Then they get Paris Campbell to be that slot. Going on getting Eric Ebron in the trade. Then you get then they got Darius Leonard. They need to upgrade the pass rush, and Matos would definitely be the best pick here. And Matos would fit in that 4-3 system. Next up, I have the Bills at 25. I have them selecting Paulson Adebo, cornerback from Stanford. Buffalo's defense is great. They have, honestly, I feel like the offense is fine. They don't have the best receivers talent. Like, they don't have no outstanding number one receiver. But Cole Beasley is doing a good job, and John Brown's going out there doing his thing, being consistent, being that deep threat for Josh Allen. So if I'm them, I'm going with the corner to pair up with Tre'Davious White after trading Stephon Gilmore and Ronald Darby 2 years ago. Adebo, again, good frame. And he's great at breaking passes up. Uses that length. He has good instincts, and he uses arm length to break up passes. Good at man, and he can come down and tackle. He can like speed downhill and tackle if he's backed up. He's definitely one of the better corners. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on him for the rest of the season because some of the film I've seen on him is pretty good. And yeah, this will definitely be a great pick for the Bills, and that will definitely make the secondary even more of a lockdown secondary. Next up at pick 26, we have my number one team, the Baltimore Ravens. Flock gang, taking on the Patriots this week. Hopefully we can get this dub. I believe they will. But I have the Ravens at pick 26, selecting Anthony Jennings, outside linebacker from Alabama. Ravens desperately need pass rush. The defense was looking poor this year, but they got Jimmy Smith back, traded for Marcus Peters. So the secondary is looking better. Pernell McPhee going out with the torn bicep or tricep. I believe, torn tricep. One of those. But basically, he's out for the year, and the Ravens pass rush has been poor this year. So Jennings would be the best value pick, and not even value pick. He'd be the best pick talent-wise, I believe. He's good at stopping the run, quick off the line. He can break off blocks. He's a good pass rusher, too. He uses finesse, like he uses his quickness and speed to get off blocks. And he can bat down passes. I've seen him bat down a lot of passes this year. And, yeah, he's an outside linebacker, too, so he'll fit with the Ravens' defense. And hopefully he wearing that purple and gold, or not purple and gold, purple and black. So that way he in Baltimore go out and sack some QBs. But yeah, this will just be the best pick for the Ravens. At pick 27, I have the Seattle Seahawks. I have them taking Xavier McKinney, safety from Alabama. Probably play strong safety. But Xavier McKinney, well, first of all, let's start off with Seattle. Secondary hasn't been that great since the Legion of Boom broke up. But Seattle does do well with next man up. Shaquille Griffin is stepping up. Trey Flowers has actually played pretty good. Excuse me. They got Tedrick Thompson at safety, and what's his name, Bradley McDougall too. I believe the safety would be a better pick for them, and Xavier McKinney could definitely play that Earl Thompson role. I'm not saying he's going to be as good. He could be that Earl Thompson or a Cam Chancellor role because he can come down and make tackles and finish tackles. Get that coverage. He can cover at the line. He can cover as a safety or deep, or cover as a corner on someone. He can blitz and rush the QB too. I've seen some plays of him lined up on the line, just come straight in for a blitz and getting sacks. He even forced a fumble on one. He can track QB passes and has a nose for the ball, and he can hit. That's what I believe. He would be good in Seattle's defense. And Seattle, this is a good pick for them. Xavier McKinney can definitely step up and be that next good safety for the Seahawks in order to restore the Legion of Boom. All right, at pick 28, the Minnesota Vikings. I believe they will draft Trey Adams, offensive tackle from Washington. Definitely one of the better linemen in this class. Now, Kirk Cousins, we can't put the blame on him. He's been playing better. And for all you people that's like, oh, he has the best receiving duo in the league, Adam Thielen was hurt. He was out. He wasn't playing that game against the Redskins, and Kirk Cousins did his thing. He's been stepping up lately, and you're probably like, it's the Redskins, but still, it's an NFL defense at the end of the day. And the only thing is they need to get that man some protection. Trey Adams, he has some good power. He can go out and lead block too. He can go out and lead some blocks for Dalvin Cook. And he's decent. He's a decent pass blocker. Again, he can work on that. And another thing about him is he holds his ground. He holds his position against the defensive ends. And this would be a good pick to help protect Kirk Cousins. The $84 or $86 million man. So yeah, and plus that's the best way to build O-lines is through the draft. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints. I was about to say Seattle Saints for some reason. We have the New Orleans Saints, and I was almost had them taking a quarterback, but I'm like, they just went 5-0 without Teddy Bridgewater. So now I have them selecting Laviska Shenault, wide receiver from Colorado. Again, one of the better receivers in this class. I actually like this kid. He's like a Cordell Patterson. That's what I've heard. And plus, I've seen some of the plays and stuff. Colorado uses him in like wildcats, like taking direct snaps on reverses and stuff. But he can also go out there, run routes, and his best asset is probably the run after catch. Because once he catches the ball, he's in open field. Be prepared, defenders, because the boy is gonna get loose. And the Saints just need another receiver outside of Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. They need another receiving threat. And Ted Ginn's getting up there in age, so and Traquan Smith could probably be that number 2 receiver, but I feel like he'd be more of a number 3 receiver. And that's why I think Shenault will be a great pick for the Saints and can definitely step up and be that number 2 receiver. Next up, another team that needs a number 2 receiver, the Green Bay Packers at 30. I have them selecting Jalen Reagor, wide receiver from TCU. I like Reagor. He's a great kid, great receiver. The Packers need another receiver because they needed one to pair with Davante Adams. Then Davante Adams, you put in the fact that he's been hurt the last couple games. And Rodgers, even though he's winning games, he's been thrown at the no one basically. Reagor has great route runner. He's fast and quick. He can jump for the ball too. He has some pretty nice hops. He's pretty elusive in open field. And he can track the ball too. He's great at tracking the ball. And he can take the top off the defense, put him on them deep routes. He can take the top off, but he can also run slants and stuff like that. And also, he has a great change of direction. He can be running right, stop on a dime, and then cut all the way back to the other side of the field. That's why Reagor, I believe he'll be a great number 2 receiver for the Green Bay Packers. At pick 31, we have the undefeated 49ers, as they just defeated the Cardinals after this. I have them selecting Tyler Biadasz, center for Wisconsin. I know I have offensive guard on here because that's what it says, but basically he's an interior lineman. He probably played guard. But, yeah, San Francisco's defense is lights out this year. I don't really see no weakness there. And the offense is playing pretty good, too. They probably could go out and get a receiver, but they just got Emmanuel Sanders. He's been doing this thing. Dante Pettis is playing good, too. And then you got George Kittle. And that's why I believe the best pick for them would be a lineman. Biadasz, he's the best pick here. One thing I noticed about him is before the snap, he makes sure he's the lowest person. Like, he stays low, even post-snap. Once he snaps the ball, he steps out and pushes the lineman. Again, pushes the D lineman back. He can block down, I guess, or like diagonal. So he can snap the ball and then block to his right, like directional blocking or whatever it's called. It gives a nice punch and he keeps his feet moving and holds his ground. He's been a great reason. He's been one of the reasons for Jonathan Taylor's success this year. And San Francisco needs interior linemen. This would be a great pick for them to help protect their franchise QB and Jimmy Garoppolo. Next up, last but not least, at pick number 32, we have the undefeated New England Patriots, who hopefully won't be undefeated after this Sunday night game against the Ravens. I have the Patriots selecting Albert Okwuegbunam, probably butchered his name, the tight end from Missouri. They need a receiver, especially after releasing Josh Gordon. But N'Keal Harry will be coming back next year. Then they got Edelman on the slide. And they just traded for Mohamed Sanu. And the defense is playing lights out. So, but the thing is, they don't have a tight end. Ben Watson's good, but he's up there in age. Lost Gronk this year to retirement. So Okwuegbunam, if there's no tight ends taken and he's the best tight end in the class, you take him. He has a nice build too. Like, he's 6'5", around 260 something, but he's quick. And he kind of reminds me of Evan Ingram, how he's like quick and he be moving. He's a good route runner too, because he's like, every time I see him, he's like always open, catching a touchdown. And yeah, that's just great. That's something you want to see in the tight end. He has great hands, great with the jump ball. Like I've seen some plays he's on the fade and he just contorts his body around and goes up in the air and snags it. And he's also physical too. He can fight the linebackers over the middle and catch touchdowns. And this will be a great weapon. This would be a great way to move on from Gronk for the Patriots and give Brady another weapon. All right, that is it for the mock draft 2020 mock draft 1.0. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me guys know what you think. If you think who you think your favorite team will take and why. Also, let me know if you agree with who I think your favorite team would take and why. And that is it. So that is it for KLA Sports, and I will talk to you guys next time.